Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight we are featuring an interview with a very peculiar-looking gentleman.
Scene 1, take 1. Scene 1, take 2.
I'm Amelia.
And I'm Louise. In today's stories, a new crime wave is sweeping the country in the form of woolen graffiti. Scientists have invented an invisibility cloak. We help them find it. And the latest in weather around the country. But first, a story that will turn your world upside down.
If you think the world is getting more and more topsy-turvy, it turns out you're right. Builders in Germany have built an upside-down house, and before you think that they may have read the plans upside down, they did it on purpose. The wacky abode was built as a tourist attraction, as well as being a comment on the state of the world. The house is 23 feet tall and rests on its roof and has steel beams in the attic. Inside the house, there are beds screwed into the ceiling, upside-down wardrobes, an upside-down kitchen, and even an upturned bathroom, though it's not known if anyone has tried to have a bath in it or go to the toilet. Normally a house like this would take 3 weeks to build. This one took over 4 months because workers kept getting confused by the strange angles on the walls. Many tourists visiting the house complained of feeling sick and dizzy after just a few minutes inside. We now cross over to our reporter Jenny, who is inside the house. How are you feeling, Jenny?
Thanks, Amelia. I'm with the owner of the house, Sally, and I'm feeling fantastic. How are you, Sally?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. So what made you decide to build an upside-down house?
Well, I needed a new house and definitely a change of scenery.
Do you like what you see?
Yes, it's very different.
What comment do you think the house makes on the world?
Well, the world is a bit crazy and everything seems upside down.
Sounds very interesting there.
Yeah.
What are some of the challenges of living in the upside-down house?
Well, the toilet leaks a little bit and things fall on my head. So my head starts to hurt a little bit.
What is it like living in an upside-down house?
Well, it makes you very dizzy. But on the other hand, it's very exciting.
I should try it sometime.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for joining us today.
My pleasure.
I'm Jenny from CPS News. Back to you, Louise, in the studio.
Thanks, Jenny. Even watching me, that makes me feel vomiting. And now for a story that is truly out of sight. Look out, Harry Potter. The world of science is coming up to the world of magic. Scientists in Europe have created a 3D invisibility cloak which can hide objects by bending light waves. It has been found that light can be controlled using special tiny crystals that make objects disappear. So far, scientists have made small objects such as coins disappear, but hope that it won't be long before they are hiding cars, planets, and even people. People have always dreamed of making themselves invisible. One top scientist says, "The possibilities are endless and we're very excited." However, since inventing the invisibility cloak, the scientists have been having trouble finding it. "As soon as we put it down somewhere, it just disappears," the inventor of the cloak said. It appears they are having trouble finding other things too, like their lunch, which they think may be underneath the cloak. What is it used for? Hoping to see through the reason behind the invisibility cloak? Here's our on-the-spot reporter Orlando with more on the story.
Hello, I'm Orlando, and with me is Kalina Ainsley, one of the scientists behind the invisibility cloak. Hi Kalina, and thanks for joining me.
Hello, it's a pleasure to be here.
What made you want to invent the invisibility cloak?
Well, Harry Potter was my main source because, well, Harry Potter's cool. And I just saw the invisible cloak on the movie and I thought, what a wonderful idea.
Interesting. Can you show me how the cloak works?
Well, as you can see, most of my body's disappearing as I'm holding it up, and it's just really covering anything that, well, it's hiding anything that's covering. So, yeah.
Wow. Yeah. What do you have? Do you have any thoughts on the cloak?
Well, it's pretty hard to find sometimes, and it decides to hide things of mine as well sometimes. So yeah, gets annoying quite a lot.
Do people think you're weird when you walk the streets?
Well, when they see me walking around with only half my body in the air, it's kind of weird. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that seems normal. We'll take you back to Amelia in the studio.
Thanks, Orlando, and how this for an interesting yarn. A new wave of graffiti crime is covering the country thanks to an underground gang known as the Midnight Knitters. These wheel-waving criminals are covering tree branches and lampposts with small jerseys and scarves under the cover of darkness. Police say the knitted activities of the gang are illegal because their woolly crimes are being done on public property without permission. The popularity of wool and graffiti is growing and more public objects are being wrapped up every night. But the problem is growing. Police say and warn that if the Midnight Knitters aren't caught soon, every tree, lamppost and traffic light in the city will be warmly dressed against the cold. The problem is spinning out of control. They are a close-knit group of dyed-in-the-wool criminals. We are stitching together a case, but it's not seamless. There is no real pattern to the crimes, a police spokesman said today. So far, the criminal knitters have escaped arrest and continue to pull the wool over the eyes of both the public and the police. We go now to a secret location with our investigative reporter Christian, who has an exclusive interview with one of the Midnight Knitters gang.
Thank you, Amelia. My name is Christian, and I'm here in this secret location, and joining me are two members of the Midnight Knitting Gang. Hello, both of you. It's good for you to be here.
Well, thanks for having us on your show.
You're welcome. Now, what got you started in knitting graffiti?
To be honest, my grandma would just knit and knit all day, and she's my inspiration, and I would thank her for that.
Fair enough. Now, do you consider yourselves criminals?
Yep.
Why is that?
Well, when you're like a knitting criminal, you like gotta go like real hard till you like got no knit left in you. And we haven't really reached that stage yet.
Okay. Now, apart from trees, lampposts and traffic lights, what else do you like to knit graffiti on?
We just like to knit everywhere. We just gotta get our wool everywhere, you know? Get it out there.
Do you have anything else to add to that?
Laptops!
Fair enough. Now, do you consider this art?
Yeah, it's a really good expression of your inner feelings.
Okay, do you have anything else to add to this interview?
Yeah, well, my buddy over here now, he like, some people think he's not that cool, but you know, in the knitting world, you don't have to be that cool. Because it's just about getting your wool out there. So if you do see our wool, you give us a hand and think about us. And maybe you could be in a knitting gang someday.
I'll consider that. Thank you both of you. It was very, very informative. Now, over to you, Ava, for the weather.
And good evening, New Zealand. Let's have a look at tomorrow's weather. Starting in the far north in Kaitaia, look out for some pretty flash flooding and raindrops as big as your head. If you're going outside, make sure to wear a hat. Moving down to Auckland, there will be a mix of fair conditions and unfair conditions, but those are the conditions and you'll just have to get used to them. There will be no weather at all for Bay of Plenty. It's taking a short holiday, but is expected to be back in the weekend. In Napier and Hastings, the weather will sometimes be changeable and sometimes not. We have really no idea what will happen there. In Taranaki, a mild depression brings with a very dull day and no highlights at all. It'll be overcast and gloomy all morning, but things should cheer up by the evening, so don't worry, everything will be fine. Wellington will have another capital day. There will be no wind at all and the day conditions will be pleasant. They'll actually be extreme. At the top of the South Island, Kaikoura can expect to have a very good day. Meeting friends for lunch, going for a swim and reading the newspaper. But try to stay indoors as the weather will be just terrible. A real mix for Christchurch, which will have some unreasonable weather, some sensible wind, moderate thunderstorms and some very angry snow. And in the lower south, Dunedin will be frosty, cold and unfriendly until late morning, when the sun will pop over for a visit. Everybody likes the sun. That's all from me. Remember, if it's raining outside, that's the weather for you. Good night, New Zealand. Now it's back to the news desk with Amelia and Louise.
Thanks, Ava. Well, that's all we have time for.
We hope you've enjoyed this evening's broadcast. Thank you for watching and we'll see you again next time. Until then, I'm Louise.
And I'm Amelia for CPS News.
Goodbye
and noho rā.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Roll the camera. Okay.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight we are featuring an interview with a very peculiar-looking gentleman.
Scene 1, take 1. Scene 1, take 2. Take 2.